Christopher! Hello, everyone. It's Charlton. Please subscribe to my channel and tap the notification bell. Like this video. That helps me to keep making videos, and I'd appreciate it majorly. So, there is a new accusation out there against Brett Kavanaugh that's surfacing now, actually. It's from a time ago. It's the New York Times. I believe it's two journalists. I don't know if two journalists wrote the New York Times piece, but I believe it's two journalists from the New York Times that have a book coming out. I think that's part of the motivation of why this is being written about now. I guess. I don't know for sure, but that seems to be missed in a lot of the reporting. And I'm not Mr. Pro-Trump, I'm pretty much against Trump. I am against Trump at this stage. So, and I have a totally different view that I've had for some time, even though I more or less defended this individual, not completely, but I just didn't trust the process and the way that these accusations were being rolled out. And I don't even want to get into, the striking similarities between this accusation against Kavanaugh. It's almost so very, very similar to another set of accusations brought against a lieutenant governor in Virginia who's a Democrat, completely flip-flopped, and whose accuser, at least one of them, was represented by the same attorney that's representing Christine Blasey Ford, the main person who accused him, Deborah Katz, who, has ties to the Hillary Clinton, and they just, they meet up, dude. I mean, it was part of the reason why I think the Clintons and Trump were working together to fix the 2016 election, which I still believe. And I believe both those two persons, the Clintons and Trump, basically own this guy, for his life on the Supreme Court. And that doesn't mean every single decision he makes is going to go that way. Obviously those two people are on the opposite sides of whatever. But that's a very powerful, very profitable power to have, in a time of need for a guaranteed vote on the Supreme Court. Okay. I mean, if you want to follow along, follow along. If you don't, dude. Okay, so he's being accused by somebody. His name is Max Stier. He went to, I believe he went to Yale undergrad with him. Kavanaugh went to Yale both for his undergrad and his law degree. And the dude's named. He's named in the New York Times piece, even though the New York Times didn't speak to him. He refused to speak to them, but they corroborated with officials that did speak to the individual. His name's Max Stier, so he's named in the piece. I assume he's named in the book too. He's not hard to find because they describe him as being based in Washington, and he's got a political background. He's part of. I mean that's the dude right there. His picture hasn't been shown. And, I don't care. It's not like I'm like, there he is. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying I'm next to 1,000. I'm like 999% sure that that's him. And he's the presidency of this organization that's called Partnership for Public Service, which I'm not exactly sure what it does. It seems like it's political. It's meant to, build up the federal civil service or something and provide checks and balances for corruption in government and other things like that. I was looking at who works with them, and it's a political organization. But I don't really care. That's not what I'm talking about here. But just so you know, I don't even know who those people are. I just saw one person that stuck out to me right away. It was Cokie Roberts, I think. And she's a famous reporter for ABC News. It says it right there. Okay, so but whichever, I just don't care. Just showing you who the dude is. But supposedly, he was at a party, and he described an incident where it's goofy the way it's described. Where he described that Kavanaugh's friends pushed Kavanaugh's penis into a female person's hand. And that she wasn't a willing participant in this. And it's hard to exactly visualize the mechanics of how that all went down. But according to the New York Times piece, one of the things they mention is that it's very similar to the account of Ramirez. I think it's Elizabeth. I can't remember her first name. It's in here. I'll see it in a second. Who made a similar accusation of a different party that he was at, where Kavanaugh supposedly, according to her, pulled his pants down, was all drunk and stuff, and like rammed his crotch into her head or into her, head area. So, but just to go over what the person accused, and by the way, if this guy turns out not to be this dude, I'll take this video down. But I'm guaranteeing you this is him. And again, I don't. It's not like I'm catching the guy. He's right there. I'm against Trump. Okay. So I think you got that by now. Where was I? The description of what happened. So a former college classmate of Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh tried to tip off U.S. senators and the FBI last year to another previously unreported sexual misconduct allegation, the New York Times reported yesterday evening. And then there's a sort of a small scandal in terms of how they tweeted about their own article, that they deleted a number of tweets that, kind of make them look silly. But let me just continue with this first. According to the newspaper, a former Yale student named Max Steyer said he saw Kavanaugh at a drunken dorm party where his friends pushed his penis into a female student's hand. Kavanaugh was reportedly a freshman at the time of the incident. Okay, it is. It's definitely undergraduate. All right, so because according to this dude's profile, he went to Yale as an undergraduate student, and I think went to Harvard Law School. So they were there when they were undergrad students together. But again, that's just it's a strange description, but who knows exactly what he means by that. I assume he means, if I could take a stab at it, that, that they're all drunk and being drunk idiots and stuff, college kids, and he pulled his pants down, and then his friend pushed him into this girl, and his penis touched her hand, I guess. That would have to be my breakdown. So Steyer declined to discuss the allegation with the Times, but the reporter said they corroborated details of the story with two officials who spoke about the matter with Steyer. It's unclear from the Times report if Steyer knew who the female student was and if she has verified that the incident occurred as Steyer described it. Steyer's account bears similarities to an allegation made by Deborah Ramirez, another Yale classmate, who accused Kavanaugh of pulling his pants down and thrusting his penis in her face at a different dorm party. The FBI did not investigate Steyer's claims, the Times reported, though the FBI did interview Ramirez in September 2018. It did not interview some 25 individuals named by Ramirez as potentially having corroborated evidence of her allegations. So, they didn't interview her, she didn't get quite the attention that, Christine Blasey Ford did. Okay? Kind of goes along with what I'm saying, dude. All right? Because I think Brett Kavanaugh, I think both individuals, Brett Kavanaugh and Christine Blasey Ford, basically withheld the truth of what really happened. And, for various reasons. Because they're in on it together. I mean, that's what I think. And because I think the Clintons and Trump are in on it. So, and basically, Kavanaugh was pulled along the process, not unknowingly, knowing not so much knowing that he was going to be indebted to the people that basically protected him through this process, and that he was chosen specifically for that. That at the end of it, he would be indebted big time. Basically, I think the account of what happened is, I think they were in that room together, in that house. And what happened there, how you characterize it, you're not allowed to characterize it. In fact, the New York Times learned that the hard way just last night, characterizing it as, horseplay or whatever, because people just went into an outrage over this incident. Not the Christine Blasey Ford, but it's basically 15, 16, 17-year-olds, 15, 16-year-olds. I think he was 17, I'm not sure, with the Christine Blasey Ford in a room getting drunk during the in a summer during the day with parents not home, messing around and stuff. But basically, it was way better for him to deny that he was ever there than to try to explain away the fact that they're just kids being stupid and stuff like that. So from the very beginning, he was advised by the Trump administration, and the Clintons on the Christine Blasey Ford, they're doing their work advising her on how to handle it, to just deny ever being in there. And, my guess is that Christine Blasey Ford wasn't affected the way she claimed that she was affected, and that it was probably not that significant of an issue. it was just an incident, it's a thing that happened, and that was that. And she probably did move on, but that's not, I think she characterized it in a different way for obvious reasons, right? And that's where we are now. Sorry, dude. I mean, I'm trying to explain it all as best I can. So, the New York Times, they put out a number of tweets trying to explain this, and they put out one tweet basically saying, and they got blasted for this, and then they deleted that tweet. This tweet saying, having a penis thrust in your face at a drunken dorm party may seem like harmless fun, but when Brett Kavanaugh did it to her, Deborah Ramirez says it confirmed that she didn't belong at Yale in the first place. So they tweeted this. This is not totally, important to the story. Then they deleted that tweet, saying, and then they had their explanation of deleting the tweet was, we have deleted an earlier tweet to this article that was poorly phrased, because they called, if the incident actually happened, the incident of him pulling his pants down and pushing his crotch into her face is harmless fun. People were outraged by that. So, they said, we have deleted an earlier tweet to this article that was poorly phrased, and then that was not satisfactory. They deleted that, and then they eventually just flat out apologized. So, New York Times deletes bizarre tweet referencing Brett Kavanaugh's harmless penis. That's the New York Post. So that's what happened with that. And now Trump has tweeted about this, and he's basically come to Kavanaugh's defense, but taking it a step further. He's saying that two things: that Kavanaugh should start suing these people. Okay, start suing these accusers, and that the DOJ, the Department of Justice, should come to his defense. Which I don't exactly know how that could actually happen. What could the Department of Justice actually do? To come to his defense. I'm not sure, but he's literally tweeted something to that effect. I mean, it says Trump says Justice Kavanaugh, Brett Kavanaugh, should start suing people after new report of sexual misconduct. And then he goes on to say that also that the Department of Justice, President Donald Trump said that Justice Brett Kavanaugh should start suing people, or the Department of Justice should come to his rescue on Sunday in a response to an article in the New York Times that surfaced a previously unreported allegation of sexual misconduct from the justice's time as an undergraduate at Yale University. The lies being told about him are unbelievable. False accusations without recrimination. When does it stop? They are trying to influence his opinions. Telling you, dude, you just think through what I'm suggesting to you, I mean, it's not illogical at all. And if you're a humongous Trump supporter, that's all you do is, bow down to him, then no, you're not going to see the logic. But it's logical, what I'm suggesting, definitely. It's just a theory, though. So when does it stop? They are trying to influence his opinions. Can't let that happen, Trump wrote in a Twitter post. Now Trump continued in another tweet. At first I was confused by this. Now I understand. Now the radical left Democrats and their partner, the mainstream media, are after Brett Kavanaugh again, talking loudly of their favorite word, impeachment. He is an innocent man who has been treated horribly. Such lies about him. They want to scare him into turning liberal. And basically they're saying, now Democrats are calling for impeachment. And actually presidential candidates are. I mean, in this, there's Julian Castro. It's more clear than ever that Brett Kavanaugh lied under oath. He should be impeached, and Congress should review the failure of the Department of Justice to properly investigate the matter. And other presidential candidates are calling for, I think, Kamala, same thing. I don't know if this is going to go anywhere or not. I would say not without more proof coming out. I would say that it's doubtful. Senator Kamala Harris of California, another presidential contender later also called for Kavanaugh's impeachment. Brett Kavanaugh lied to the U.S. Senate and, most importantly, to the American people. He was put on the court through a sham process, and his place on the court is an insult to the pursuit of truth and justice. He must be impeached. All right, well, that's the story there, dude. That is the story there. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below. I'll see you in the next video. Later, man.